United States Attorney's Office here in Indianapolis. My name is Tom Wheeler. I'm the United States Attorney for the Southern District of Indiana, and I have the privilege of running this office. What I want to do is focus a little bit on what our offices, the Department of Justice, has done here in the state of Indiana during the shutdown, and spend a little bit of time talking about each of our offices and their efforts during that 43-day shutdown. I'll start with our boss, Attorney General Bondi. On October 8, 2025, she stated in her opening remarks to the Senate Judiciary Committee, and I quote, "I want to begin by confirming that the Department of Justice is committed to ensuring the American people are safe, even as the government remains shut down. Our law enforcement capacity remains fully active. This commitment to justice was no more evident than here in the Southern District, where we continued critical operations to keep our fellow Hoosiers safe." My fellow DOJ colleagues here at the table with me on my right is the FBI Special Agent in Charge, Tim O'Malley. To my direct left, Assistant Special Agent in Charge, Cody Dooley. And on my far left is Christopher Knox, Resident Agent in Charge for the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms. We want to begin by extending our deepest gratitude to the men and women of the Department of Justice, our other federal law enforcement partners in Indianapolis and across the district. Despite going without pay for 6 weeks, they continue to safeguard our communities, uphold the rule of law with dedication and unwavering commitment. I would also be remiss if I did not specifically recognize the vital role of Chief Judge Jim Sweeney, our other federal judges, Clerk of the Courts, Chrissy Seifert, their staff, and the Marshals Service, and what they did during this time. They did not miss a beat during the shutdown. We could not have done what we did during the shutdown without their assistance. We also could not do what we do without the efforts and the collaboration of our state and local partners. We gather here today to publicly acknowledge these efforts and to highlight for the community the outstanding work done, notwithstanding the burdens of the longest government shutdown in history. Our message for the public is simple. No matter the circumstances, our commitment to you does not waver. We are here every day, protecting communities, upholding the rule of law, and defending the safety and the rights of our fellow Hoosiers. Before I briefly outline the work of my office for the period of the shutdown, and then pass to my DOJ colleagues, since this is my first visit with you, I wanted to briefly sketch my background so you understand where I'm coming from. I thought about just telling you the Google Me line, but somebody else has trademarked that one. Some of you got that at least. I saw a couple of slides. I'm a Pike High School grad. Went to IU Bloomington, both undergrad and law school. I have 38 years representing federal, state, and local entities and law enforcement units. I've worked with some of the members of the media in my prior Indiana positions as an elected member of Boone County Council, chair of the Indiana Election Recount Commissions, and I've worked with every governor since Joe Kernan. On the federal side, I served as the Assistant Attorney General for Civil Rights at the Department of Justice. I also served as a senior advisor to the White House Federal Commission on School Safety after the Parkland Santa Fe shootings. I served as general counsel to the United States National Sheriff's Association, representing all 3,300 sheriffs nationwide. Also as a senior counsel, senior advisor to the Secretary of Education, and most recently as general counsel to the United States Department of Education. But what I can tell you is I'm glad to be back home in Indiana and working with these people at this table and the great men and women in our office. So I want to start with respect to our office to give us criminal division update. Job number one for us is to keep Hoosiers safe. A significant portion of our staff are federal prosecutors. They, in conjunction with our federal, state, and local partners, work tirelessly to ensure that those who break the law are held accountable. They focus on the worst of the worst. And when the government was shut down, they continue to do exactly that. I'm going to run through some numbers. So during the 43 days of the shutdown, 1,247 officers, 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 1,247 The U.S. Attorney's Office secured charges against 41 individuals, 19 for violent crime and firearms, 19 for federal drug trafficking, 6 for child exploitation, and 3 for fraud. In addition, we secured federal prison sentences against another 30 individuals, 12 for violent crime and firearms, 12 for federal drug trafficking, 1 for child exploitation, sexual exploitation, and 5 for fraud. Remember, federal crimes are not run-of-the-mill cases. The crimes that we handle are truly the most dangerous offenders, most complex cases, and the most deserving of the resources and attention of federal law enforcement. I want to give you some details of a few of these cases that we handled during this time to give you a sense of what we do. First of those, Dante Allen and Lance McGee, they committed 11 armed robberies of businesses. Let me repeat that, 11 armed robberies across Marion County. Both men were prior felons. Allen, the gunman, was sentenced to 38 years in federal prison. McGee, the getaway driver, was sentenced to 19 and a half years. The FBI led this investigation along with our local partners at the Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department. Christopher McDonald led a violent human trafficking enterprise across multiple states in which he sexually exploited multiple women using drugs and violence and fatally shot a man he refused to pay for sex. McDonald was sentenced to life in prison. The ATF led this investigation along with IMPD and IRS criminal investigations. Finally, Albert Baker was found after an extensive police chase ending with Baker's car submerged in a pond with large quantities of methamphetamine, fentanyl, and numerous firearms later found in his home. Baker had prior felony convictions, including for dealing drugs. He was also a self-professed Nazi and a member of the Aryan Brotherhood. Swastika flags were found in his home and a Nazi vanity plate on his car. Baker was sentenced to 20 years in prison for his crimes. The DEA led this investigation, along with the Bloomington Police Department and the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. These cases, and many others like them, were successfully worked by our teams while the government was shut down. For that, I want to thank again our law enforcement partners here throughout the Southern District of Indiana, and most specifically, the paralegals, victim specialists, financial investigators, and federal prosecutors who work here in the U.S. Attorney's Office. Criminal is not all that we do. We also have a civil division, and our civil division stayed focused on doing what they do, which is representing the United States in court. Throughout the shutdown, they handled civil lawsuits in both federal and state courts, making sure the interests of the federal government were protected. This includes cases involving federal agencies, departments, and employees. During this time, and again some data, the civil division pursued and resolved allegations of fraud committed against the public, including settling a $9.6 million healthcare fraud case under the False Claims Act and anti-kickback statutes, defended the United States, its agencies, and employees in civil litigation, appearing in and litigating 40 new lawsuits filed against the government during this period of time, and they enforced debts owed by criminal defendants and pursued the proceeds of crime through asset forfeiture, resulting in collecting thousands of dollars. Finally, we also have an appellate division, which is responsible for defending our results on appeal. During the shutdown, the appellate division was busy. They handled 11 appeals and argued 5 cases in front of the United States Court of Appeals for the 7th Circuit in Chicago. They also managed 7 cases in district court, each one focusing on upholding convictions already secured. That's a long way of saying that during the 43 days when the federal government was shut down, we continued our work. Our team never missed a beat. Notwithstanding the lack of a paycheck, our team showed up every day in this office and in our federal courthouses to help keep our community safe, protect the public, and defend the employees and agencies of the United States government. With that, I'm going to turn it over to one of our partners and a good friend, Special Agent in Charge, Tim O'Malley.
Thank you, Tom. Good morning. My name is Tim O'Malley. I'm the Special Agent in Charge of the FBI here in Indianapolis. I wanted to deliver the message that throughout the government shutdown in 43 days, the men and women the FBI in Indiana came to work every day without getting a paycheck. And the reason we did that was because the bad guys didn't take a break during the shutdown. So we didn't take a break either. We were here keeping the pressure on day in and day out. Some of the work that we did during the shutdown, I just wanted to highlight. We arrested a serial bank robber by the name of Daniel Schwarber. Mr. Schwarber was identified here in Indianapolis as being a bank robber, and with the help of our Cincinnati field office or Louisville field office, we were able to find him, locate him in Grove City, Ohio, and we arrested him. We also arrested 8 people for conspiracy to distribute narcotics. We arrested an individual for making threats against a federal official. We arrested numerous people for firearms offenses, including felons in possession while distributing drugs, felons in possession of firearms while threatening service providers to their home, and illegal aliens in possession of firearms as well. We arrested individuals for sexually assaulting a minor. We also did not let up pressure on the fraud and financial crimes that we investigate. We arrested an individual who committed fraud for stealing COVID-related paycheck loans in the tune of $80,000. We arrested an individual who committed medical insurance fraud in excess of $400,000. And we also arrested an individual who went to a bank and used a military ID that did not belong to them to take out a home equity loan on a line of credit on some of his mortgage. We also kept up the pressure in the area of immigration enforcement. We arrested 17 individuals who were here illegally, and one of those individuals is here and possessed a firearm. We also worked with our international partners. We have several fugitives that are currently located overseas, and we kept the pressure up on those individuals to locate them and get them back here to stand justice. I just want to say once again that the FBI did not let up during the shutdown. We were here day in and day out. Our personnel here are very committed to the mission, and we're also very committed to working in a collaborative manner with our other federal partners, the ATF and the DEA who are here today, but also with our state partners, with the Indiana State Police, along with our local police departments. So once again, very proud of the work the FBI did, despite the challenges of the shutdown and not receiving paychecks. But we were here day in and day out to make sure that the Hoosiers of the state and residents of the state were protected and our communities were safe. So thank you.
Thanks, Tim. I'm going to throw it over to Cody Dooley. He kind of jumped in just recently and then right into the shutdown. So Cody, how have you guys been doing?
Thanks, Mr. Wheeler. We're doing well. I'm DEA Assistant Special Agent in Charge, General Cody Dooley from the Indianapolis District Office. DEA is a single mission agency. We're charged with enforcing violations of Title 21 United States Code, which is commonly known as the Controlled Substances Act. Our priorities are simple. We're committed to enforcement, preventing overdoses, and saving American lives, dismantling the Mexican drug cartels, disrupting the criminal chemical supply chain that enables fentanyl production, and reducing violence in all of America's cities. Our employees wholeheartedly committed to these priorities, and they've shown their steadfast resolve by continuing to complete this mission, even during the latest government shutdown. DEA employees from all job series continue to work during the shutdown. Most people don't realize how many types of employees are required to conduct the DEA mission, as well as the general law enforcement mission. In addition to special agents, we have our intelligence analysts, our diversion investigators, our forensic chemists, and our dedicated support staff to keep everything running in the background. They all continue to work throughout the shutdown to continue the DEA mission. So in addition to the statistics that were provided by U.S. Attorney Wheeler, I'd like to provide you with just a few additional statistics to highlight some of the work that we continue to do during the shutdown. During the shutdown, 43 days, DEA here in Indianapolis, Evansville, and Terre Haute seized 3.5 kilograms of methamphetamine, over a kilogram of fentanyl, 12.5 kilograms of cocaine. And in addition to the case that U.S. Attorney Wheeler spoke about, we also had cases that produced 31 state arrests and an additional 3 other federal arrests. So as you can see, DEA as a whole has been committed throughout the shutdown to continuing our mission of enforcing the law and saving lives. And to echo what the FBI said, we can't do this without our state and local counterparts and the excellent cooperation that we have across the Department of Justice and all other federal law enforcement to keep things going and completing the mission regardless of shutdowns. Thank you very much.
All right, Christopher, you're up.
Thank you much, sir. My name is Christopher Knotts. I'm the resident agent in charge for ATF Indianapolis. ATF protects America's communities by confronting violent crime driven by the illegal use of firearms, explosives, and acts of arson. Our special agents concentrate on identifying and dismantling illegal firearms traffickers who fuel violence by arming prohibited persons, gang members, drug cartels, illegal aliens, and terrorist organizations. Through advanced crime gun intelligence such as NIBIN, firearms tracing, and touch DNA, ATF partners with state and local law enforcement to investigate, identify, and prosecute violent offenders. At the same time, we safeguard commerce and uphold the Second Amendment. During the shutdown, ATF Indianapolis, which covers the entirety of the Southern Judicial District of Indiana, initiated 52 criminal investigations, ranging from international firearms trafficking to felons in possession of firearms, distribution of fentanyl, arson of a commercial structure, unlawful possession of explosives, and Hobbs Act robberies. Throughout the lapse in appropriated funding, ATF maintained its support of the Department of Homeland Security by assisting with immigration enforcement operations in Indiana. ATF Indianapolis initiated investigations on 8 illegal immigrants attempting to purchase firearms. That's 8 from simply within the ATF Indianapolis office. Our work continued apace. We continued to support our state, federal, and local partners who were out here every day expecting our participation. We appreciate the partnership that we've received from the U.S. Attorney's Office in prosecuting these crimes.
All right, thank you, guys. We have time for some questions. If any of you have any questions.
This is pretty much what I'm hearing this time from every department was that day one of the shutdown, it's Monday, we just have to go back to work. Is that fair to say?
Certainly from our shop. One of the criteria with it, remaining employed and not being furloughed is whether you're performing an essential function. If you look at everybody up here, as we've made clear, job number one is keeping Hoosiers safe. I can't think of a more essential function than that. Certainly in our shop, everybody was literally came in. We didn't have to order them back in or tell them to come back in. As you said, they came right back in, sat down at their desk, and kept doing what they're doing. If you look at the work that was done, it was a normal workload for us, and so we absolutely didn't miss a beat. It was because they chose to come in. They voluntarily came in without pay and kept doing their job for 43 days, which I served during the 35-day shutdown, which was the previous longest one, which unfortunately went over Christmas. What I saw here with a longer shutdown was everybody understood what was going on, was committed to making Hoosiers safe, and came into work and did not miss a beat.
Yeah, same for the FBI, fully operational. There was no lapse in any of the operational work that we do. And like I said earlier, I think the important thing to remember is, the bad guys aren't watching the news to figure out the shutdowns going on and how that, whether or not they should stop their activities. We fully recognize that. We have to keep the pressure up, and our investigations won't get suffer because of that. And as Mr. Wheeler said, same for the FBI. Our folks, the personnel of the FBI, are fully committed to the mission. Our intel analysts, our professional staff, our agents are there day in and day out to make sure that our mission doesn't fail.
It was same with DEA. It was just another Monday. Everybody came to work. There was no question that anybody would even think about not coming into work. As Mr. Wheeler said, nobody even thought about, should I come? Everybody just came because everybody knew the mission had to continue. So there was no change for us.
The criminals didn't receive a furlough notice. They continued doing what they were doing, and we continued showing up every day to combat their crimes. Our state and local partners expect us to participate to keep the public safe, and that's what our agents did.
Any other questions? Good to go. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Let's go.